The next thing was calling the insurance companies, making sure that they had what they needed, which was generally just the death certificate. Sending those in. A lot of times they'll send you other papers and things that they need from you. So once those came, filling out those. What happens once your loved one loses their Social Security, when you call to cancel that, you generally need to set up a tax ID number in the name of your loved one, because many things come in their name. It will either come, for my mom, a lot of stuff was the estate of Shelby Halbach. So I had to have an account set up to be able to receive anything that was coming that was made out to her or her estate. And then once you do that and you have a tax ID number, then you need to set up a separate bank account. And that's what they will need to set up that bank account, is a tax ID number in your loved one's name. Looking up what she was going to need for taxes, because once your loved one passes, you still are responsible for taxes in that year. So I've got to file taxes for 2024 for my mom. So making sure all of that paperwork is together, and I'm hanging on to that. And you really do need to be careful because you don't want to lose anything. My mom passed away in March, so there's 9 more months that I've got to keep track of until I'm getting ready for filing taxes in 2025. So make yourself a folder or have a certain place in a file cabinet or somewhere where you're keeping track of everything. I had my mom's living trust book, so I started throwing everything in there so that I know when the time comes, I have everything I need for that. The next thing that ends up being helpful once you come up for breath is to make sure if there is mail that was going to your loved one's residence, that you go ahead and get that forwarded. That way you'll be getting bills or anything that was meant for them to your address. You can go ahead too, and if there was any subscription services that you knew your loved one had, you can go ahead and cancel those out, like streaming services for TV, internet, things that you know won't be used. I didn't cancel my mom's bills as far as utilities that were at her home in Virginia, because that's one thing you do not want to do. Because if it's going to be a property that will be sold, then you have to keep utilities on until the actual sale of the property. If they had any credit card accounts, you'll be closing those. Closing credit card accounts is pretty easy. You can just make a phone call with your loved one's account information and cancel. But if there is a balance still on those accounts, you will need to pay that. And that's something that would come out of the trust account. Some things people really don't think about is if they're still driving, like my mother was, you do need to cancel that driver's license. The driver's license is still a form of ID. It's still, people can use it to register to vote. So you don't want that out there. Even though the Social Security is canceled and the number should not be working, any other form of ID that your loved one had is still something that could be used. So I ended up making an appointment in Virginia and had to go and cancel the driver's license, which they said then would also cancel out registration. If your loved one has any social media accounts, you want to go ahead and close those out as well. Many people like to leave them up just for a little bit as a place to notify friends and family that you may not have the information for, that the loved one has passed. My mom was not on any social media whatsoever. She hated the internet, social media, technology. She had an iPad and she just wanted to play puzzle games on her iPad. That's what made her happy. Most of the time, if anyone had to reach her with an email or anything, they would have to email me, because she was like, I'm not on social. When places call and say, can I have your email address? She's like, I ain't got one, because she didn't want anybody having any of her information. So that was at least pretty easy for me. But a lot of people do have Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and all kinds of accounts. So you want to make sure you're able to cancel those accounts for them. There are certain insurances you'll want to cancel too. Again, you have to wait if there's a home involved on homeowners insurance until the property is sold. But car insurance, you can go ahead and cancel out. And if there was any alternate insurances, umbrella policies, anything like that, go ahead and you can cancel those out. Going back to Virginia to take care of my mom's house became kind of the next big ordeal we had to deal with. Once we had gotten up to her memorial and we had gotten past that and had taken a breath, then it was, okay, now's the next jumping off point, which was her property she had in a different state.
Hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell to stay up to date on all new videos.